G'day gang. I really haven't got any videos to show you. Things I've been up to recently, because I've been doing some horrible jobs. All-wheel drive rodeo clutches, you don't want to see them. You're not going to do them at home. You don't want to watch me do them. Heat gasket on a 2015 high ace, you don't want to watch me do that. So I thought I might rustle together the footage from when I rebuilt the Torana engine about a year and a half ago, maybe a bit more. But I put that up in separate sections. I'm going to knock them all together and make a little movie out of it. So hopefully you'll, if you haven't seen this before, or this footage before, hopefully you enjoy. If you have seen it, hopefully you'll like to watch it again. Cheers. Check you later.
G'day gang. On the list of jobs to do is this little bugger, 73 LJ Torana. Quite a tidy little car too. Had one of these when I was a kid. A two-door though. Two-door 4-speed. Very, very tidy car, this one. Anyway, I'm going to be pulling the engine out of him and giving it a freshen up. When I say freshen up, it's going to get new cam lifters, bits and pieces and so forth and so on. Someone's whacked some extra gauges in her. It's got the seat belts, they've got the seat covers, but yeah, it's all in pretty fair shape. All in pretty fair shape. It's obviously been painted at some point in its life, but it's little 173, the little 2850. I'll pull that out this afternoon, and the guy's going to take the vehicle away, and he's going to get the engine bay all tidied up, and we'll proceed to pull the engine apart. But for now, just thought I'd give you a look at that. It's not a bad little car. Brings back some memories too. And so there we go. 4 bell housing bolts, 3 converter bolts, 2 mounting bolts. Some bits and pieces later and we're out. So I'll begin the process of stripping it down. Next time we come back, I'll just have a look at the bore and the bearings and see exactly what's going on inside it, and then we'll send it off to the machine shop. Oh, yeah, well that smells like 1973. I reckon that's all original. So there we go, the red's out and partially pulled apart. I had a few guys that live in the northern hemisphere who were saying, oh man, that looks like our old straight 6, inline 6 bloody Chevy engines. Well, it is a bit. And the Holden engines do share some similarities with Chevy. Actually, these lifters are identical to like 70s era 350s. 350 Chevy V8, same lifter. That seal, it's the same as a Chevy, small block. The difference here is that the oil pump is external, and it, alongside the distributor, are driven off the camshaft. There's a gear down in there. You won't see that because it's too dark, but there's a gear down there. Bridge to rockers like our V8s have the bridge rockers. These the earlier 6 cylinders. This design engine block has been Holden's powerhouse from 1964 in various guises, from 149. This is a 173, as I said before. but from 149 to 202 cubic inches, which kind of finished in the 80s, the 85, with the black motor. But covers, side plates, pumps, heads, all the bolts that are around it would all be interchangeable between 1964 and 1986 engines. Engine mount design there, dipstick, they're all in the same place. And that was what's so good about the Holden engine, is that you could just about get anything off anything and it would fit your Holden. And that was a good thing. But anyway, so I'll pull him down, let's have a look inside. Yeah, there's the head off. And nothing looks in bad shape. I don't see any seats that have been smashed down into the head or anything. No valves, nothing looks like there's anything really, other than the fact she's sooty. Now it's had a lot of soot. Well, it's got a lot of soot. It's probably because he's either driven it on the choke too much, or maybe the carburetor's not real well. There's nothing really concerning. There's no massive ridges there. That's a genuine gasket. So I'd say this head's never been off, as you can see Holden written in there. That part number. I believe that is a genuine gasket. Yeah. I believe that's a genuine gasket. So I say this thing's never been pulled apart. You know, when you look around it, you really don't see anything that's concerning. Well, maybe it was might be starting to go there, maybe. Or there, maybe. Yeah, probably there. Starting to go. It would have gone at some point. I expect it would have failed there eventually. But otherwise, that's not bad. Well, I reckon that's probably pretty untouched. It's got a bit of shit up in there. Let's see up under that. Oh, we get the light. We see it there? Yeah, there it is. There's some muck in there. Just up in there, in the pickup. Other than that, it's not too foul. A lot of times, if somebody says, even if they've just done a set of rings or something, you'll see, you know, number marks on the rod, so they go back in their right slots. There's nothing there. But yeah, that's pretty honest, I reckon. So then when we look in, you'll see there's access for some Phillips screws. And so we'll bang on them with an impact driver, pull the cam out. It still has the original fibre gear. That'll probably end up with an alloy gear on it. They did this alloy gear stuff, and where are we? Up here in amongst the pile of things. Here we go. You see there's a plastic gear on the distributor. They did all that to try and stop the noise. And anyway, I've got this upside down to pull the cam because the lifters are stuck in there. But anyway, I'll slide that cam out of there and we'll punch the lifters out of him and have a look what else was. Have a look what that looks like. The cam, although it's not in the best of shape, it's not the worst, but obviously has wear. You can see on the lobes there. Get some light, eh? Oh, don't worry about that. It's a diesel Ford Focus fuel pump I'm in the process of doing too. So I'm pulling this down while I'm waiting on parts. And it didn't look all that horrible. Lifters, I suppose, are probably what you're going to expect to see. Anyway, I'm going to punch them out through the bottom. And yeah, that stuff. So there's our lifters, and you can see we've got a little bit of a, we got some divots in there. Yeah, we got some marks in there. We got some divots. I don't know what's better, light or no light. Probably no light. That's one of the worst ones there. But anyway, yeah, so that's the lifter. It just looks like a small block Chevy lifter. Yeah. So they'll go in the bin. Cam and the gear will go in, or the cam and the gear will go in the bin. I'll keep the thrust, we'll keep the plate off it. There, of course, that's where the cam, the distributor and the oil pump run off. And get some pistons out and have a look in there. Oh, there's the big end off number 6. And she's wore out, there's no doubt about it. But it doesn't look, you know what I mean? The crank looks pretty good in shape. This fella here, I think we'll get these resized because this has got a little spread in it. In other words, when I tried to take the rod cap off, it wanted to fight with me on the threads coming off. And when it came off, it left the shell behind, stuck to the crank. And usually what will happen is the shell will come out with the cap if it's got a good fit, but that's just worn out. That's all that is. Would it have gone longer? Oh, I think it would have gone longer. I don't know how much longer, but it would have gone longer. Anyway, we'll pull some pistons the right end of the bearing here, the upper section. That's not flogged. I mean, it's worn out. It's worn out. There's no doubt about that. But it's not like flogged the guts out of. The side of the piston doesn't look like it's been hammered by jingos, does it? Rings are still loose in the grooves. She's just honest and old. It's 7 main bearing crank. This is the thrust, where the thrust sits, and it has the 2-piece neoprene rear main seal. The earlier series had wick seals in them. An actual, when they used to come back to Holden leaking, the wick seals, you get a punch down on the wick seal, you punch that up further, punch that up there further, flip that over, put a new wick seal in there and leave it a bit proud at the ends, and ram it in there. And that's what their fix was. But yeah, so I'll slip that crank out now while it's upside down before I turn it over, and I'm just going to slip a ring in and see how worn the rings are. Look at the mains again, nothing horrible, just worn out. more white metal on there at all, I don't think. Just worn out. There's a ring off A piston. I just grabbed any. And you can see there's wear in there. It's hard to see, yeah, you can see that weird little wear line there. That's higher that area than that area, so that's been flopping around in the piston a bit. It's fairly sharp on the edges. And I'll just stick them in the ball and measure it up. Strip down. I'm ready to go to the machine shop. Just in case you were wondering, and you see there, get you a good shot. Bit hard for you guys to see, but that's it. There we go. They're a standard, original big end. Mains are the same. All standard. And so we'll just make sure that the bore's good and square, and if the bore's good and square, we might throw new pistons in it, depending on how you're going. Did I mention about the piston ring? Stuffed it in there. It's about 70,000. No, about 40 thousandths. So it's worn. 70 thousandths was that other shit box, wasn't it? The Pathfinder. So next time we speak about this one, I guess it'll be reassembly time. Oh look, started to put him back together again. And it's all standard. Linished up the crank, honed bore. Done the oil pump. It's got a new relief valve and spring in there. We've got new cam gear, alloy gear, like I said it was going to be. We're all timed up. The crank goes around nice. And yeah, not much really to show you until everyone's seen people put pistons in and talk shit up and blah blah blah. So I guess we'll wait till it's back together and looking like $1 million, eh? Before I bring you all back. I have, as I said, I've done the oil pump. We've got a new gear there. I've already done the carburetor. We've got a new electronic distributor coming. Fuel pump, I've kitted that. Replaced the stud that was busted there. So we're going alright. I'll clean up this mess in a sec, eh? Oh, pistons, look. Here's how those pistons come up. Know what I mean? In good shape. So they'll go back in. That's what I'm about to do now. In case you're wondering what this is, that I'm using to assemble the engine. Thank you as the truck goes past. It's this. I don't put it on the rings, I just put it on the crank, you know, blah blah blah, the gears. The only thing I suggest is when you're doing when you're putting pistons in, if you want to be really absolute, you haven't got an issue. Each one that you put in, give the engine a turn. It costs you nothing. Because if you put them all in and you torque them all down, and then you go to turn your engine and it doesn't go, you're going to be thinking, well, which one is it? At least if you do it as you go, if you turn every time you put a slug in, you give it a swing around, you know there's no issue there. So, it's going around nicely. I'll just continue on. You can if you want to. I don't normally, because I'm awfully careful. I like to turn the block up so that it's up the right way. Drop the piston in from the top. Look at that. drop the piston in from the top, and you can guide the rod bolts with your fingers, and you won't bang the rod bolts into the crank journal. So yeah, I'll just keep going with it. There we go, all the pistons are back in, front cover is on. I like to put this seal on here first before I put the cover on, because look, you see there's a little tit sticker through there. Well, I think they're down in here as well. Gives you a good opportunity to be able to just pull them through with a pair of pliers. Now in here, see there's a little ditch. There's over here as well. They don't give you anything to go in there. They don't give you anything to go in there, so when this seal goes on, we've got a void. So what I generally do is I'll take a piece of this cork, which is throwaway part from the valve cover gasket, and I'll cut me 2 little blocks that'll fit perfectly in that little divot, and it's good goes then. Let's get that going. How that goes. Nothing wrong with that. We'll put the other seal on there, put the main gasket on, whack the sump on. So with the pickup on, the end rubber in, front rubber in, see how we've got them nice and overlapped in there, like that, nice. I'll just put a little tiny dollop of elastic in there, just a tiny one. I don't normally like to put anything on the cork, especially with these. This is rubber impregnated cork. You put silicone on that. As soon as you start tightening it up, it's just going to split and squirt out. So I'd rather just leave it dry. Then I'll go on. Another thing I like to do before I put the sump on, if any dents in the pan, knock them out if you can. And if you have a look at see how this has gone. It's all bellied up. I'll go around with a hammer, bang all them down flat again, give it the best chance, and then I'll run the buff over the edge. It's all nice and bolted up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my RTV. I'm just going to fill in that little galley. That's a little bit of insurance, and I will before the I'll whack some around here too. Yeah, so although Holden didn't do this, it's just a little bit of insurance. Same down the back end there, just a little bit of insurance. Nothing worse than having a tiny little piss poor leak because bad fitment or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to bang the balancer on it. We'll put it's a brand new balancer, put a bit of oil around here so she doesn't go in dry and burn the seal up. And nearly ready to give it a final little blow off and put some paint on the bottom side of it. When that's nice and dry, we'll turn him up and complete the assembly. Just let them sit in the oil for a bit. I'll roll them around.
Ooh, now isn't that pretty?
Yeah, that'll let that dry off. Then I'll bang the Welshies in the side of her, and that's the bottom end done. I've got the cylinder head back for that Holden engine. This is a high compression cylinder head. A low compression would have a closed chamber. A low compression would have this opened up more in here. So we've had it decked, had it machined, surfaced. They've cut the seats, faced the valves, and tipped the valves. New plugs in this, Welsh plugs in the head, new valve seals, couldn't find anything wrong with it, so pretty much just to clean up. There, look, there's the H for the high compression. See, there we go. Anyways, I'm going to bolt some bits and pieces onto the head. I'm going to put some paint on it before I install it onto the and that's starting to take shape very nicely. And so away we go. Valve stem seals on these engines aren't like a lot of other engines. They use like an umbrella seal. Runs on the valve stem. They use these little things, these little O-rings, they're square-shouldered rings. And what would happen is you would compress the spring down, slide one of these on, then slide your keeper on, your cap on. Slide the valve stem seal down, and then whack your collets in on top of these, and that's how they're done. Oh, and I never like to paint where the hoses are going to go. Use an old piece of radiator hose, some old heater hose, whatever. Main reason is because it makes it awfully hard to get the hose off. And that's the paint. PHT engine enamel. It's a Holden orange red. See, SP119. That's the part number. She's all right. She's good stuff. So while all that's drying, we use a bit of time to buff up the 45-year-old head bolts, and I'll just run a tap down through the head bolt holes, making sure they're all nice and clear. I've done that once already, but I'll do it again just for the fun of it. And then we're just about ready to whack the head on. Once that stuff's dry over there. So while that's been drying, it's just about dry now. All the threads are cleaned out. These are going into the waterways, all bar these two up the front here on this engine. So we need to seal the head studs, head bolts. We use a sealer, and that's the stuff right there. You can probably see it, tells you there. That's what Holden used. I guess, I don't know, Chevy probably did too. And another thing I do is, and I only do it around the waterways, just around the waterways. I don't put it everywhere, because there's a big debate on, you know, should you put anything on a head gasket. Lots of people use copper coat, silver paint and all sorts of things. Well, I use that, and I only put it around the waterway. And you're probably wondering why that is. Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, back in the day, with the introduction of ethylene glycol coolants, let's pop that dippy back in the hole. With the introduction of ethylene glycol coolants, these head gaskets went off. Wait a minute, let me get myself. Wait a minute. So where was I? With the introduction of ethylene glycol coolants, now if you have a look at this particular gasket, you'll see it has got like a little sealing stuff around there, and it's got a tacky coating on it. But what we were finding is the coolant would leach in between the composites of the gasket, and eventually you would end up with coolant weeping out of here. Not a lot, not like a blown gasket, but it would leak out, weep out. And of course, you try and tell a customer that when he comes to get his head or his engine, and it's got, you know, a little while later there's a little bit of schmutz leaking out the, you know what I mean, or out here between the cylinder head and the block. They go, oh, it's got a blown head gasket, mate. No, it's what it was the coolant, the ethylene glycol, leaching through the gasket and coming out. So all I do is I just put some around on the gasket, or on the block. I'll put it actually. I'll sit the gasket on, then I'll just put some around there. Not a lot, just a little bit. Of the Permatex. This is Permatex 3 or 3J as they call it, and it stays soft. And not had any issues after that. So anyway, I'll get on with that and I'll plonk the head on. Then all I've got to do is just dust around where the head bolts are. And it's just about ready to put it back in. We'll stab the dizzy in it, of course. I'm already set up on our static timing, which is 6 degrees on this particular engine. So yeah, we'll get away with that. About. Just a little bit around there. We can sit the gasket back on. Now I'll just put some around there. We'll plonk the head on, bolt it down, push rods in, rockers on. Happy days. Bolted down. About 80 pounds, foot-pounds, somewhere around there. 80 pounds is where I like to put them anyways, 75 to 80, give or take. We're going to put the push rods in. You want to check if they're straight. You always see a lot of people wonder, oh, I need a nice straight surface to roll them on. Well, you don't. All you got to do is get 2 push rods. And it doesn't even matter if they're bent. Roll it on down. She's good. She's good. She's good. And repeat. So again, assembly lube, push rod tip, pop him in the hole. We've still got plenty of lube down in there because we soaked those lifters, remember? So there's like a little cup of oil down in there already, but you can never have too much. Never have too much lubrication, especially on that. On those critical few first turns over. We want everything nice and wet with and again all over the top. Anything that's going to have some friction, we can put slippery shit on, including our rockers. We're going to whack some in here, we'll whack some on there, even though there's some already. We can't have too much, in my opinion. So we're going to lube them all up. Here's another thing you can look for too. Yeah, we've got nothing. We've just the rocker is just sitting on there. You want to make sure you've got clearance in there. The top dead center. Now, when I screw this down, this is a fairly coarse thread. It's a Whitworth thread, or yeah, we call it Whitworth. That's probably about one a bit turns from where the bolt actually touches the bridge to where the bridge touches the head. That's probably going to be about 1.5 turns, which on most hydraulic engines is about where you want to set your preload. Let's just bolt all that down. So I've just wound that in by finger to where the bolt's just touching the bridge. Let's see how far she goes around. Ready? We're starting with us in that direction right there. There's a half. That's her. That was about 3/4. So half to 3/4. Here's another little thing I could probably mention. Let me get a bridge here. There we go. If you have a look, you see there's a little arrow there. You can see it right there. Yeah, on there too. That has to point towards the valve. Okay? And that's about as close to like new as I can make it. Now we'll dress it up, eh? I was about to install the carburetor on the manifold. And you see there the mixture screw, the air idle mixture screw. I thought to myself, You know, those little nylons that screw sits in, you just don't get them. And then I had a bit of a rush of memory to back in the day, and I remembered in my toolbox I had the replacement. So you pull the nylon out of there, pull the screw out, pull the nylon out, punch this in, and you have a mixture screw. Now while I was looking for that, I found this. You might not know what that is. I'll show you. When I worked for Holden, these things were new. What you would do with it is this is the tuning knob. You would take the tuning knob off and you would slide this over the spindle and fine tune in AM radio channel. Proper Holden tool, that one. Wow. Look at it, tiny little thing. It's just so people wouldn't mess around with them. We're going to stick that one in instead. There we go. Easy peasy. Back him out 1.5 turns or something like that. Somewhere around there. And that's about as close to good as new, or like new, as I can make it. Looks pretty. Looks pretty. Well, gang, we're swinging. You know what that means? The car's about to come back. I've just put some fuel in the bowl. We have oil in the sump. A noisy truck. We primed the oil pump, filled the oil filter, full of oil in the sump. Full of running in oil, and yeah, just waiting for the car to come back. We're going to drop the Torana's back. I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed the way it came back. So you may recall it went away all nice and pretty, but just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously. I tell you, and half-assed. Look, they've done all right in here. Look at that, nice and beautiful. Yeah, up there, nice and beautiful. And then, why couldn't they have done something with that? Then they wrap all the wires, just throw them up in the corner there. You know what I mean? Couldn't do the cross member, or this pan. You know what I mean? Just, and look at this. We'll just hang the gearbox off the fucking accelerator bracket there. That's good. Like I had this piece. Look, so that bar going across. That's what I had holding it up. Now it's sitting on the tranny cooler pipes. Just half-assed. Disappointed. Anyway, and look, the wiper motor. Couldn't do anything with the wiper motor. Wouldn't you want to detail that up a little bit or something? I would. Anyway. But yeah, that's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to let that. I'm going to have to give that a wipe off. And I've got, you know, the black that I used on these bits over here, like, I'm going to have to put a bit of that on there. I can't leave that like that. That's not. I'm not going to be happy with that at all. Just amazing. Anyway, what else have they done? Look, there should be a regulator sitting there. I don't know where that is. I'm just going to. Oh, it's crikeys. I don't know. Just. Bit of rattle can. You know what I mean? Just dusted a bit of rattle can on. Doesn't that look much better? Anyway, just before I plonk it in the hole, thought I'd just make mention that you recall when I put the head gasket on, I was talking about that Permatex around the water galleries. Well, that's more than habit than anything else nowadays, because with the Permaseal, which is this gasket set's Permaseal. With Permaseal and Monotalk head gaskets, the composition's a lot different to the ones that it used to be back in the day, and I think it's more just habit now than anything else. And just a couple of short heave hose later, we're in. Nice. Well, it's all but. I've just got to put the radiator in, and yeah, it's really come along nicely. Well, gang, there we are. We're in. I haven't put any coolant in here yet. I've just got to make sure the thing runs, which I'm sure it will. Yeah. I've cranked it over a few times and make sure the oil light goes out. I've just plugged the coil lead back in. For some reason, I don't know, it's got some strange ideas of wiring. The starter's not hooked up off this. I don't know why. Well, let's give him a couple of squirts with the throttle. Push the go button. Look. We might need to just advance it up a smidge. Oh, plus it's cold, don't forget. That wasn't so bad for the first shot. I'll just advance that timing up a little bit. Just see me advance it up there. What I hear there, that doesn't sound real bad. And we're on, yeah, there we go, red's on. Not too shabby. Okay, I'm going to put some coolant in it now. We'll let it run for a bit. I'll just leave it run like that for about 15 or 20. Let the cam will get all happy with its lifters, and then do the final little tune on it. Not sounding too shabby. Well, there we go. And yes, it has blue leads on it. That's what the guy supplied. I'd like to have put black ones on it, but hey, you know what I mean? Plus we've got electronic ignition. Come on, give me a break. Not bad. I'm going to go for a run in it now. Not too shabby. I won't be able to take you blokes with me, really, because the police around here are everywhere. But when we pull her up, we'll have another look, eh? Oh, I made it back. That's a good sign. It's what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Not too shabby. Have yourselves a good one. Check you later.